to inspire, heal, and transform, reminding us that every challenge is a chapter and every success is a triumph worth sharing. Hi there, welcome to the Spark, a podcast dedicated to bringing you stories of transformation, real stories of some silent heroes. This podcast is about resilience, hard work, willpower, and determination. It is about the desire to succeed. We are here to share our challenges, failures, and victories with the hope of inspiring each and every one of you. My name is Mabel Shu, and I am your host. My guest for today is Peter Dadzie. Peter is a passionate development practitioner whose areas of interest center around agriculture and youth empowerment. He is very particular about the education of young girls and the welfare of small-scale farmers in rural areas in Ghana. His expertise in project coordination, research, and data analysis, combined with his excellent written and verbal communication skills, make him a valuable asset in driving impactful initiatives. With a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Geography and a Master of Philosophy in Economics, Peter currently serves as the Economic and Product Research Officer at Agila Holdings Ghana, where he provides support to the research units. Peter's interest in youth empowerment led to the creation of the Akurase Mpuntuo Foundation, a not-for-profit organization that facilitates access to quality education and skills development to improve the well-being of underprivileged communities in rural Ghana. Hi, Peter. It's an honor to have you here with me today.
Hello, Mabel. I'm excited to have you too. I'm excited to be here too, and thank you for the opportunity.
Great. Peter, so take us through your childhood. When you were a kid, what were some of those dreams you had? What were the things you wanted to become?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. So when I was growing up as a child, I wasn't so sure of what I wanted to become in future. I wasn't so clear about it because I did not receive enough information or education about career path and to even clearly identify my interests and passions to make an informed choice. So I heard about being a pilot and decided that I would also want to become a pilot. I also went to the hospital, saw doctors, and then decided that I would also want to become a doctor.
Okay.
And then finally, I would also wanted to become a farmer just like my father. So it wasn't so clear growing up because of the inadequacy of education and guidance on career path.
Right.
Thank you.
So you initially said you wanted to become a pilot. What was that thing that attracted you to wanting to become a pilot?
So growing up, my junior high school, we embarked on an excursion to the Kotoka International Airport in Accra, Ghana.
Right.
And then after going through seeing travelers and then seeing the planes and those who work there, then when we went back, I decided that this is interesting. So I would also want to become a pilot as well.
And what broke that interest? At what point did you decide that you were no longer interested in becoming a pilot and you moved to wanting to become a doctor?
Well, so when we went back, even though I wanted to become a pilot, I didn't know how.
Right.
How do I become a pilot? What programs am I even supposed to pursue? Which schools am I even supposed to attend to become a pilot? I didn't know how. And I didn't get the answers that I needed. So I had to drop it. And then also went to a hospital in the community next to my rural community where I saw doctors working there. So I became interested in their work and decided to become a doctor as well. also, wasn't so sure of what to pursue at the university. I wasn't even sure I was supposed to even go to university to become a medical doctor. All that I knew was that I need to be very good in science, and my mathematics also needs to be very good. I wasn't so sure of how I'll end up becoming a medical doctor.
Right. Yeah, when you said that, I also remember when I was younger, I wanted to become a medical doctor. And the only reason why I know I wanted to be in the medical field. And one of the reasons why I enjoyed being in the medical field was just because of the white lab jackets I saw them wearing. When I saw how doctors and nurses paraded around in white, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. The white was clean and I wanted to wear clean. So I'm like, yes, I want to become a doctor. How I was going to do that, I wasn't even thinking about all of that. But it was just interesting how sometimes you see the different reasons that we want to become the things we want to become at childhood, and why some of those things just fade away at some point. For some of the flimsiest reasons you could ever imagine. And now that you mentioned Peter, so at what point did all of these change and then you decided to want to become a farmer, and what was the trend of activities when you got to secondary school? What changed and what influenced the courses you took at the level of the university?
All right. So thank you very much. So at the senior high school, I got introduced to one of our economics teachers in the name of Mr. Anthony Amiel, who taught economics very well, and how it could be used, one, to work in a development field. You can even learn valuable lessons to run a business or even run a farm and all that. I got interested in how he taught it. And then I was also very good with mathematics. And I realized that economics has a way of using mathematics to make things simpler and easier to understand. So I got interested in that. I got closer to him. So even after school, I'll visit him in the house, engage him, and let him help me understand some of the topics that he was treating or other economics teachers were treating. So he really helped me to build my interest in economics, and then to further to the university to do economics. So even when I completed senior high school, I still wasn't so sure whether I would want to further to the university level and do economics. I was thinking of going to the nursing training college to revive that childhood dream of becoming a doctor. That if at least I don't become a doctor, I can become a nurse and still work in the hospital. I'll still wear those white coats and work there. But fortunately or unfortunately, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology gave me a free admission after my senior high school. They do select students from less endowed schools who do well in the WASSCE, that is the West African Schools, West African Senior High School Certificates Examination. So they select them, give them free admission, and then they go there and pursue their degrees. So they gave me admission, gave me geography. I performed well in geography as well, gave me geography as the program that I should go there and pursue. But that year, the admission didn't come on time. I wasn't so sure I wanted to go and do geography, so I decided not to go that year. And this following year, the school actually deferred the program on my behalf and sent me a message again that they've reserved my admission. So if I want, I should come. I discussed this with my economics teacher that I mentioned, that this is the case. They still want me to go. And I'm still not so sure whether I want to become a geographer. And now I'm even thinking of going to nursing training college. So we spoke, and with his support, my interest in economics and going to the university was actually revived. And then I got the information that when I get to the university, I can even switch from geography to economics. So I went to the university. I was still doing well in geography. In fact, in my first year at the university, I emerged as the overall best student in my class.
Wow.
In a geography class.
Wow.
But I still decided that I want economics. I want to switch to economics. So I went to the school administration, and then they told me when I moved, I should combine geography and economics in the first and the second years. They allow you to do that. where you pick a minor program and add it to your major program. So when I'm moving to third year, then they will switch to make economics my major program. So I was a geography and rural development was my major program in first year and second year. But when I was moving to third year, I got to change to economics and I majored in economics. And it's been a great decision that I took because one, it's helped me to refine my interest in even development and even running an NGO and even doing research about the things that I'm interested about, something like agriculture, youth empowerment. And economics has equipped me to be able to use data, to be able to conduct research, to understand these things and to implement programs to be able to solve some of the issues in rural communities. So this is the trajectory of my path from senior high school up to the university level.
There's so many questions I want to ask. I don't know where to begin from. It's so packed because you see the switch between geography and economics. I wanted to understand whether it's a normal thing or it was just specific to your case based on everything that happened. Because first of all, what was offered to you, you didn't go, and then the school still reached out to you. I can imagine what the school saw in you for them to have reached out. You know, in most cases, if you don't accept the offer, the school will just move on. But they did not. For some reason, they reached out to you. And then the course you were supposed to do, you did it, but you were interested in something else, and they agreed that you should do both courses. So you doing geography and economics. I wanted to find out whether that was a normal thing. Was it okay that students could do that, or your case was just different and or special?
All right. So the university for the Faculty of Social Sciences, they allow students to select a minor program, and the university admits them into a major program. So the major program that the university admitted me into is the geography. But when you get to the school, you have to select a minor program and attach it to your major program and do it for 2 years. That is your first year and then your second year. When you move your third year, you drop your minor program and then you focus on your major program in third year and then in final year. So this was a normal practice in the school.
Okay.
But when I went, the first thing I did is to go to the geography department and economics department to find out how I can switch. So when they gave me this information that if I want to switch, then I have to pick economics as my minor program and do it up to second year. And then it's not straightforward that the university will allow you to switch. You need to provide concrete reasons and you need to also perform very well in a course that you want to switch to before they will allow you to switch to that program.
Okay, all right. Now that makes a lot of sense. And so when you were doing all of these at the university, did you already have in mind what you were, like your area of interest in terms of a career based on what you were doing? Or because you remember that you said it's the school gave you the course to do. It was not like it was initially your area of interest, not something that if you were going to the university, you would have chosen to do, right? So while you were doing the geography and economics, did you have a career path in mind you were interested in, or you were just going with the flow based on what was given to you?
All right, thank you. So in first year, I wasn't so sure. To be frank with you, I wasn't so sure.
Most of us aren't, even up until the last year. I wasn't even until when I finished.
I wasn't so sure. So in school, they organized programs about career paths and all that, which I attended. I attended several conferences on campus to actually learn about my interest and what I can do with my life. So I wasn't so sure even in first year and even in second year, but I was sure I wanted to do economics. I wasn't so sure that I would even run an NGO or work in research, but I was sure that I wanted to do economics. But it was in final year that I got to know that I write very well, I can work in research, I talk very well, and then I lead teams very well. So I can even start an NGO and even do projects in rural communities to address some of the challenges that I went through.
Okay. based on your response to the previous question, I'm trying to figure out whether you had a mentor to guide you through during your university days in any form. Could be a role model or just someone you looked up to.
All right. So at the university too, in fact, I did not have a mentor. And my senior high school economics teacher,
Yeah.
Mr. Anthony Ameyao, was still somebody that was serving as my mentor. I would call him when I was having challenges, and I would speak to him and all that. So it was mostly somebody who was guiding me in my academics and then with life generally. But as to having a mentor at the university, I did not have. It was when I completed, I did one program that they required that I get the mentor, that I got one of the lecturers at the Department of Economics in the school to be my mentor to take me through that program.
Yes.
So having a mentor from first to final year was something that I did not have. But my economics teacher in senior high school continued to be my mentor throughout. And then when I got to final year and I was about completing, through a program that I joined that required that I should have a mentor, I got one of my economics lecturers to be my mentor.
Okay. But do you think that if you had a mentor, and this is not academic mentor, I mean like a career guide, career mentor, do you think that if you had one when you got to the university, maybe things would have been a little different for you?
I think so. Because some of the things that I knew about, especially when I got to third year and final year, if I had known about them in first year, I would have probably have done them and probably prepared myself well even before completing school. For instance, I didn't know about participating in programs and conferences to be able to prepare myself very well even for the world after school. Meanwhile, some colleagues of mine had been participating in these programs from first year. So by the time we completed, they were far ahead, had prepared themselves, part of programs and all that. So if I had a mentor, like my colleagues who had that, things would have been a lot easier for me. But all in all, I got to learn about them in final year, and so it was better late than never. And I was able to catch up some way somehow.
Yeah, I like that, better late than never.
Absolutely.
So Peter, you've come this far, and you now run a foundation, the Akurase Mpuntuo Foundation. I want to come back to what the foundation actually does, but I know that it's not been an easy journey, coming from a place of not even knowing what you want to do and getting to the university and a course being given to you, and then you building upon the course and finding your way. What were some of your biggest challenges?
My biggest challenges and growing up would be one, not having a mentor to actually guide you, to help you identify your interests, your passion, set clearly defined goals, and even pursue them. It was one big challenge. It did not allow me to make informed choices, growing up as a child from a rural community. Another challenge was that living in a rural community where there was no electricity, no internet, you are basically excluded from the world. Learning become difficult. You do not see what is going on. So you are basically left behind. And you do not get access to information that will enable you to prepare yourself well for the world. One instance, actually, when growing up, I had to use locally made kerosene lamps to even study. One instance, even bent my school bag.
Oh, so you didn't tell that story at the beginning about your childhood. I'm interested in that story.
Yeah, so not electricity, but I still had to find ways to study because the thing was for me was that even though my father was doing well in agriculture, but it was through a manual process, not automated or not using machines. I found it to be extremely hard. So I told myself, I don't know what I wanted to become, but I'll study hard and move forward. So even if I'll venture into agriculture, it will be a large-scale farming that I'll use machines and less reliance on labor. So I really wanted to study hard and relied on kerosene lamps that we call locally as bobo, and once even bent my school bag. But this was a challenge that I faced growing up. So if probably we were having access to, let's say, internet, electricity that would enable me to study and research and see what is going on, I could have probably, even without a mentor, be exposed to things in the world and make informed choices. So without a mentor, and then with these challenges, making informed choices at the beginning became a challenge for me, which I had to find ways to overcome them later on in life.
Yeah. And generally, in terms of support from your parents, how was it at a young age? How was the support from your parents?
Well, my parents really supported me. My both my father and my mother, even though didn't go higher in terms of education, they really wanted us to move forward with our education. So my father would, each year when we are progressing to the next stage, will ask of the books that the school wants us to buy. And then we'll travel to the next town, go and buy all the books for us. In fact, in senior high school, I went to a less endowed senior high school. And I was, in that year, in 2013, in Ghana, we had two classes, Form 4 classes, those who did 4 years, and then those who did 3 years, completing together. I did 3 years, but I went to the school for 2 years because I went late. So I actually did 2 years in senior high school.
Instead of 3 years?
Instead of even a 3 years, and then I was competing with those who had done 4 years.
So you completed the 3-year session in 2 years?
Exactly.
That was brilliant.
So I went in 2011 and then completed in 2013.
Interesting.
Yes. So, but what my father did actually helped me a lot. In fact, he bought all the pamphlets of the subjects that I was doing for me. Science, for instance, he got me about 3 different textbooks. Economics, about 3 different textbooks. So even though it was a less endowed school, a teacher's not enough, and not completing the subject before the final exams, I got all the textbooks from my father, and then I was able to complete all the topics with the support of my teachers, going to them one-on-one to help me go through the courses. I was able to complete them, and then I emerged as the best even in my class. And then I emerged in the school. The university that I attended, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, they selected only 3 people from the school. 2 were Form 4 students. And then I was the only Form 3 student that was selected that year to go to the university.
Instead of 3 years.
Yes. So my parents actually put in the work, ensured that I had all the books that I needed to be able to study on my own, even if the support from the school wasn't enough to be able to move forward. So had it not been my parents giving me the books, giving me the support that I needed, I'm not sure I would have been able to pass even the final exams.
Yeah, and you gave them every reason to put in all the efforts, the things parents do for their children. I was also interested in what happened when your bag got burnt in primary school. I'll ask that question another day. Now, coming back to like listening to all of these and coming back to the foundation, the Akurase Mpuntuo Foundation, what was your inspiration in setting up the foundation?
Okay, so thank you very much for this question. So Akurase Mpuntuo Foundation,
it's pronounced Akurase Mpuntuo.
In Puntuo, yes, it's an Akan phrase, which literally means Rural Development Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Rural Development Foundation. So this is a foundation that I co-funded with my senior high school economics teacher, who became my mentor at senior high school and even throughout my university days.
The same teacher you spoke about?
The same teacher that I spoke about.
Interesting.
In fact, we speak almost every day and now we are more like, brothers.
Wow.
So after school, still speaking to him, decided that the challenges that I went through without electricity, without the internet, without the mentor, And the other challenge, even the school that I attended was way, way far from where I was living. I had to do about 5 kilometers walking to and fro every day to go to the junior high school. And even the senior high school that I attended, I would go there in the weekdays for school. And then the weekends, I would have to come to my village where my parents were living. And then the distance was about 15 kilometers to and fro.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so no vehicles, so we have to use bush roads to go to school. So these challenges that I went through without a mentor and all that, realized that I can do something small in my own way with the support of friends, partners, to empower other young people in rural communities so that they will not go through these challenges, so that they will be able to clearly define their career path.
Yeah.
They'll have the tools, they'll have the information and the resources to be able to pursue whatever that they want to pursue in life. First, we need to assist them to know their interest, their passion, and then their goals, and then they move forward to be able to achieve that. So after school in 2018, completing my national service in 2019, towards the end of 2019, after completing my national service, I went to the rural community because I had opportunity to work with Ghana's Spark Service in a district that my community is located. I went there, I found I was the only person who had been able to move from there to that university, that is the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So after speaking to this my senior high school teacher.
Sorry. When you say you were the only person, what does that mean?
Yes. So there had been no other person from that community of about 2,000 people who have been able to move from there or progress from there to go to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
What's the name of the community?
It's Bosovela in the eastern region.
Okay.
Yes. Even though there were other people, about 3 other people who have been able to go to the university. One to the University of Development Studies in the northern region, another person to the University of Cape Coast in the central region. But to KNUST, I was the only person who have been able to go there from that community. So I decided that I'm going to start a mentorship program to support young people, want to clearly define their career path, and to also lead them to at least the school that I attended. So we began with only one mentee in 2020 and guided him through all the applications and scholarship applications. And then he got the admission. It was his first time to even travel to Kumasi. And then I took him to the campus myself. And I told him that I did this for you not because I wanted any payment. I wanted you to get here, and then you also come back and support other young people to also go there. And then he has also supported us. And over the years, we've mentored over 100 youths from rural Ghana, with about 50 progressing to school, to the universities in Ghana, and about 20 securing scholarships for their full 4-year degree programs. So that is how come we formed the foundation to address some of these challenges that I faced growing up, so that other young people in rural communities wouldn't have to face these challenges.
Wow. That's a huge number. In less than 5 years? That's a large number.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really large number. Wow, Peter, it's really interesting to hear that you're doing all of this work. And I'm just listening to the passion with which you're saying the stories, and it doesn't just sound like it's something you're doing because you have to, but it sounds like it's something you're doing because you need to. And
Absolutely.
It's like there's a need for you to do this. And then now I'm wondering, I know that it came with its challenges, but it also sounds like it's rewarding. So with everything that has happened, what's the one thing that you find most fulfilling about what you do, especially at the foundation? What's the one thing you find most fulfilling?
My fulfillment comes from seeing young people go through a mentorship program and find their feet in life by way of getting a relevant admission or scholarship to go to school. It gives me enough fulfillment that at least the challenge that I had growing up, they've been able to overcome those challenges, and then they are going to school. It gives me enough fulfillment. And over the years, with support of friends and partners, I've been able to support young people, including young girls.
Yeah.
In fact, these rural communities that I'm mentioning, majority of them did not have even a young girl from there progressing to the university. It was through our mentorship program that this same community of Bosovela, we've had 2 young girls from there going to the university.
Okay.
So it gives me fulfillment that through the work that we are doing, it's, removing the barriers, not only for boys like me, but even for young girls who initially would have been next to impossible to emerge from rural communities like my own to go to the university. So this gives me enough joy. Even though there are challenges, but it gives me enough joy that at least we are leading the way for other young people to find their feet in life.
Right. And sometimes there are days where you wake up and it just feels like the whole world is against you. You're stuck, you're confused, and it's like everything has come to a standstill. What's the thing you hold on to, or what's that thing you still look up to when you get to those moments where it feels like you don't know what to do?
So there have been several times that I felt like even giving up on.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly, several times. So anytime that I feel that way, and then I go back to the reason why we began the NGO.
Exactly.
And the fact that I have, in one way or the other, been privileged to get to where I've gotten to.
This is not for
I
you.
might give,
Yeah.
yes, if not for, let's say, somebody or some people come into my life to support, it wouldn't have been easy. So am I giving up now along the way instead of doing my possible best until I leave this earth? And then I motivate myself to move forward again. And then one person who has been really supportive is the same economics teacher from senior high school. Anytime that I feel like giving up, he'll be the first person that I'll call. That it's becoming tough, it's becoming challenging. Sometimes you need support, you need partnerships, you need funding to be able to do some of the work that you're doing, and becoming confusing and challenging. I feel like giving up. And then he will motivate me. Let's go back to the reason why we began this. No matter what you are doing, you face challenges. So it's not 1 or 2 difficulties that you face that will make you give up on something noble that you are doing for young people in rural communities.
Right. On behalf of all the people you have supported so far since 2020 up until now, we want to extend our greatest thank you to this teacher who has been providing you with all the support that you've needed all these years. He has played a great role in influencing and impacting the lives of so many people. I'm not sure if he knows how much of importance he is to them, but on behalf of all of them, we want to say a very big thank you. Then,
Thank you.
in terms of, sometimes when we do a retrospection, there are some people usually have regrets. Is there anything, do you have any regrets looking at everything that has happened? Do you have any regrets?
I don't have any regrets or any that I'll think about.
Okay.
I love what I do, actually.
Right.
Sometimes the only regrets come from not knowing the right path early to have been able to start preparing myself well early on in life. But apart from that, I feel fulfilled and overjoyed in what I'm doing. So no regrets.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Peter. And the last thing, if there was some piece of advice you would want to give to anybody who is struggling out there, anybody who is also going through some of these challenges, what would that be?
All right. So thank you very much for this question. So my advice to people, including young people in rural communities who are facing challenges, I do not know how to make informed decisions and choices to move forward with their life. My advice, number 1, would be to find somebody that you can confide in, somebody that you can speak to, and somebody that you can receive relevant guidance and advice from. My confidant that I got was my senior high school economics teacher in the person of Mr. Amir Anthony, who supported me, guided me, and helped me to make informed choices, and even ended up becoming the co-founder of the NGO that I run. So find somebody that you can always consult. It can be your teacher, it can be your pastor, it can be even your parents, a friend, somebody matured enough to offer you the relevant advice that you need. And sometimes it's not everything that they will tell you would have to implement, but just by sharing your challenges and frustrations with somebody, you have fresh perspectives. You even have clear mind to be able to think through whatever that you're going through clearly to make the right decisions. And second, continually seek for opportunities to develop yourself. There are opportunities like the mentorship program we run at Akurase Mpuntuo Foundation that supports young people in rural communities to make informed decisions, receive the relevant mentorship and guidance to clearly define their career path, and also even receive training in digital and soft skills. So continually find programs like this one to prepare yourself and receive support from the mentors or the people leading such programs to make the informed decisions to be able to move forward from whatever challenges that you're facing. And then my third advice would be that I read a lot. I find the most information that I use from books, and books have helped me a lot. So I also advise that consult books, find good self-help books and read them. They'll give you enough information about how to surmount or overcome certain challenges in life and even plan or set goals and even achieve them. One of the books that I read that towards the end of 2024 and into 2025 is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it talks about the habits that you need to be able to move forward and even overcome challenges. Some of these books are really good, will support you to get the relevant information to be able to overcome the challenges that you are facing and move forward. So in summarizing my advice, first, seek mentors. Second, pursue programs that will offer you mentorship and guidance, and then never stop reading. Always read widely to gather relevant information for yourself and then your life. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Peter. I was going to do the summary, but you've done a great job for me. Thank you so much. It's really been interesting and enlightening just listening to your story from the almost the dark ages you had to go through as a kid with the challenges you've had to overcome, yet you're running the foundation you're running, and you've taken it upon yourself to ensure that people in rural communities don't go through that kind of life. It's really so heartwarming to hear you talk about all of these stories. And I want to wish you and all those who are helping you run the Akurase Mpuntuo Foundation, I want to wish all of you the best. And I hope that you're really able to do the work that you've set out to do with the foundation. And I really pray that you keep on touching the lives that you've been touching. Thank you so much, Peter. It's really been great listening to you. I have been honored having you today. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you too very much for having me. I deeply appreciate it.
And to all those who have been listening, I thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to having you again on the next episode. And as you all know, until then, don't give up.